I decided to give the children a treat, so we went to Pizza Inn to have some pizza. So this place was nothing special. It was along Samora Machel, and it wasn't near the city or anything. But when we got there, it was really packed. There were long queues, people buying, Chicken Inn, Pizza Inn, Baker's Inn, and so on. I could not help but think, okay, this is now a week after the end of the month. How are people actually buying this fast food? Because as you know, fast food is very expensive. So we waited, we bought, we had fun. It was all good. The other day, same thing, went into town. I decided to take a walk into town because usually I don't go into town because parking is difficult and it's just too packed. But this particular day, I decided to walk through town and just explore the places I used to see before and how they've changed now. And again, every time I passed through a takeaway or these Baker's Inn, Chicken Inn places, they were all packed, long queues. So I'm thinking to myself, how are people able to have this amount of disposable income to be buying fast food? So I decided to go on a journey to find out how people are actually making money. Because on one hand, you hear people say, well, things are tough, things are difficult, there's no money around. And then you also hear another group of people saying, well, Zimbabwe is good, Zimbabwe is amazing, we're making a lot of money. Now, these statements that I'm making, I'm not going to necessarily go into each and every city and say, okay, in Gwanda, this is how things are. In this is how things are. I'm just speaking about mainly from what I'm seeing. So anyway, some people who are saying things are difficult, and now I'm going to give you my personal experience. There was one guy who was helping me out with the incubator when I was doing the chicks. So he would come in, help me separate all the chicks, clean up the whole thing. So after a few months, I decided, you know what, this guy is not asking for money from me or anything. So let me give him some money, but I wanted to give him something extra on top. So I gave him some money just to say thank you. And then I say to him, look, these chicks are a special breed. They were black astrolops and croilers. So I want to give you these 100 chicks. If you have a rural home, take them to the rural home. They will survive there and see how it goes. Perhaps you could start selling, some eggs or even sell some chicks. So when I did that, I could tell the guy really wanted to do these chickens. But I guess at that moment he was expressing this to me, but deep down, he didn't want to do it. Eventually, he took the chicks, and then I asked him, so what happened with the chicks? And then he told me, the project didn't work out, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, that's fine. So that's one of the examples where people are saying things are difficult, but you give them opportunities of how to make money or how to survive, and they totally neglect them. Now, this I know is one example. I can't make a big conclusion. Now, I want to take this a step further and give you even more examples of people that I've given opportunities, but they don't want to take them. They just want money. They just want pure cash. I have some relatives come to me who say, my kids are kicked out of school. Please, can I have $100? And I say, okay, listen. It's simple. I have farmland. Go to the farm. I'll give you a starting point where I can get you 100 chicks and then start keeping your chicks. I will even sell your chickens for you. That's the offer I usually give my relatives. Can you believe out of 5 people that I've offered this, not even one has taken me up on the offer, but they complain about life being tough in the city, life being tough in Harare. So the confusing part is, okay, here's an opportunity of making money, but you're not taking on that opportunity. Why is that? And yet these are the same people who complain that things are difficult. So what I've realized now is, yes, things are difficult in Zimbabwe as a whole. But if you take action and try to make money, perhaps people could make money. But anyway, let me not make a quick conclusion. A few days ago, I hired this InDrive because now I'm a fan of InDrive. It's just like Uber. It's so convenient. You request a ride, you can see it on the map and you can see the car coming. The guy calls you before he comes to confirm exactly where you are. I mean, it's an amazing service. So this guy comes in with a Subaru car, hybrid. I mean, for those of you who are into cars, Subaru is a very expensive car. And this is a young guy. In fact, when I asked him how old he was, he said he was 27. So I said to him, so how's life? And in fact, this is the question that I asked a lot of these InDrive drivers. And he says, Dada, life is good. And I'm like, okay, how are you making money? And then he goes, yeah, this Uber thing is just my part-time thing. I don't really do it to make a lot of money, but sometimes I get bored and then I just make a few dollars here and there and I'm good. Because in a day, he was telling me he can make $100, sometimes $80. So he doesn't do it like really full time. So his main line of work or his job is he's in real estate. He works for an actual company. But what this guy told me really shocked me. He said to me that he focuses on selling houses that cost 500,000 US dollars or more. And from that sale that goes through, he gets 5%. Imagine that. He gets 5%. So imagine 5% of 500,000, 5% of 1 million. Very good money. And what I liked about this young man is he is very good at selling. His marketing skills are very, very good. He knows how to do his thing. And he managed to go into a niche where he's not tied in with so many people or competing with so many people for the smaller properties. He's just going for the big ones. If he gets one after 3 months, he's happy. So as you know, I'm very skeptical. So I said, nah, I don't think this is true. He says, look, you seem like a nice man. I want to show you how we're making money in Harare. So he pulled over, went to his emails, and he showed me an agreement which was just about to be completed. He's like, I'm just waiting for this to go through. This is for a house for 1 million. Of course, it has payment terms and so on, but he gets his commission. Everything was there, signed. At that moment, I was thinking this could be this guy trying to convince me, maybe he thinks I want to buy a house. But as we continued speaking, I realized that this guy is genuine, he sells these houses. So I then started asking him, how are people getting this money to buy these houses? And his response was, if you look at Zimbabwe as the way we used to look at it many, many years ago, in the 2000s, then Zimbabwe won't work for you. So I said, what do you mean? So he said, ways of making money have now evolved in Zimbabwe. People are now making money in farming projects. People are making money in mining. So I said, hang on, are you telling me that these mines, this mining stuff is actually bringing in money? And he goes, yes. How else are people able to buy stands? How else are people able to buy houses? Not the $1 million houses, but the 40,000 ones, the 50,000 ones. How are they able to afford this? So it made me realize that there's a hustle that is happening on the ground that people are not realizing is happening because they are waiting for the official jobs, which they were used to back in the day, which they are supposed to get after finishing university. So the way I see it now, we have two types of mindsets. We have people who are willing to get their hands dirty and make money. And then we have a group of people who are waiting for jobs to come through. And these are the people who are going to be suffering the most. So if you're smart enough to recognize the opportunities that Zimbabwe has right now, then you'll make a lot of money. And the funny thing is, it can be lived, because one guy actually said to me, we make money in the chaos. So I said, what do you mean? He goes, there's so much happening in Zimbabwe right now. And when I say Zimbabwe, I know this may not be happening in Mutoko, for example. So please, I know, don't send me those comments of okay, when you say Zimbabwe, do you mean this, do you mean that? I'm just used sometimes to say Zimbabwe, meaning where I am, okay? So in Harare, for example, you find that InDrive, for example, there isn't much regulations. You sign up with InDrive, you go through the process, and before you know it, you're on the road, you're driving, and you start making money. Government has no way, or at the moment, has not regulated this area. So whatever money you're making, you're putting straight into your pocket. And people are making so much money with InDrive. And this is just an example. There was a lady that gave me a lift, or rather I booked an InDrive, an elderly lady. So I was asking her, how is work? And she was like, oh, work is fantastic. I said, wow, are you really making a lot of money with InDrive? And she said, look, listen, I actually bought a house with InDrive. Straight away, I was like, no, that can't be true. That cannot be true. So she started calculating. So she said, look, your ride today was $10 US. I can make 11 of these, or 10 of these every day, from 6 a.m. to about 8 p.m. So 10 of these in a day, that's 100 a day. So in that 100 a day, InDrive takes 10%, right? So let's say make things easier. It's 11 rides, and then the 11th ride goes to InDrive. Okay, then you're left with $100 a day. Of course, you may take a bit of money for fuel. So let's say you're taking $80 a day on a good day. So if you average it out, if you're doing that every week, and then you multiply by 4, and then you multiply by 12, you'll find that it's quite a lot of money. So what this lady did, or at least what she was telling me, was she managed to buy another car, and she's doing this now with her sister. So with that now, they were able to buy a house within a year. And it's so fascinating. So one may ask, how are you able to buy a house in Zimbabwe, yet we, us in the diaspora, we can't do it? These are the sort of things that people are making money with. It's not clear cut because it's not one of those businesses where you go in, someone gives you a breakdown of what's happening and all of that. No, but people are making money like that in Drive. And this is just one example. You'll get also someone who says in farming, they're making money this way, that way, this way, this way, this way, this way. Because at the end of the day, if you are supplying food, people eat, even cabbages. Guys, you're going to be shocked. Cabbages actually makes you a lot of money. Cabbages. Because you're feeding people and they're going to want to buy these products each and every day. So imagine being the supplier. That could be a lot of money to be made there. But it's not clear cut because sometimes we look at cabbages on the side of the road and we say, I can't be seen doing cabbages. But you'll be surprised how much money those people are making. Now let's go into into mining. You'll be surprised. People who are going there to dig for that gold. Because remember, you get a gold license, or at least that's what I'm told. You get a gold license. You can go there, whatever gold you mine is yours. You sell it to the government and you get your money that way. Now, if you're lucky enough to get into an area where there's decent gold, yes, you're getting your hands dirty and you're doing the physical work. But these are the guys who are making money. And I think this is what answers my question, which is how is it the lifestyle in Harare is so flamboyant? Do you know when I back to England for the first time, my plane arrived late. So at that time, I didn't know about InDrive or all of that. So I thought, you know what, let me just book a hotel. The hotels were fully booked. I'm talking about Holiday Inn, fully booked. And these are fully booked by the locals. Someone was telling me if you try to book for a place to go around Christmas time, most places in Zimbabwe, tourist places are fully booked. All the lodges are fully booked around that time. Yet we are saying there's no money in Zimbabwe. So at the end of the day, you're going to fall into two groups. Either you're going to be in the group which says, yes, there's no money in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is dead. The economy is dead and all of that, because you don't really see or you're not exposed to how people are making money on the ground. Or you're going to fall into a group of people who say, Zim is good. I've managed to take my son to private school. I've managed to buy a house. I've managed to buy a stand. I've managed to buy cars. I've managed to do A, B, C, D, E, which us guys from the diaspora can't even do. But these guys are doing it while they're in Zimbabwe. So that's my take. That's my observation. There's a lot of money being made on the ground, even chickens. I'm telling you, do you know you can, okay, let me give you the figures for the chickens, because this I know because I did the research. Every chicken you sell, you make $3. So the cost of raising a chick to being sold is $3. Round about that. Now, if you don't believe what I'm saying, or if you have other figures please let me know in the comments box below, because there may be chicken farmers out there. I'm talking about broilers, but let me know if I'm off track. So to raise a chick to slaughter, it will cost you $3. And then if you sell this chicken, you're selling it at $6 dressed average. Can you imagine if you're selling 1,000 per month? That is $3,000 per month selling chickens. So you may say, well, the market. There are so many restaurants here. There are so many hotels. There are so many places, even just selling chickens around, your community or around your neighborhood. People want chickens. This is one of those meats that are cheap and people will keep on buying. So let's assume you're able to build it to 1,000 chickens every single month. That's $3,000. That's a lot of money. So, you look at this and say to yourself, okay, in 10 months, how much money would you have made? Can you not buy a stand? Now, if you're someone who's focused and you do this for the next, say, 5 years, and you're growing your customer base, how much money will you be making? Maybe turn this into a restaurant. Now, instead of making $3 per chicken, now you're making $9 per chicken. Now you've just increased your profit margins. It is amazing. So there are opportunities, but like I said, you're going to fall into one of the two groups. Sometimes it's unbelievable that people are actually making this money. Yes, we could say, oh, maybe the people who are buying the nice cars, they're government officials. But trust me, if you go to Borodale, to the city center, or to these different functions, surely they all can't be government connected. I refuse to believe that. These are people who are really hustling on the ground, making money because they found an opportunity or a need in the market that they're fulfilling. So there is genuine money that's being made on the ground, and it's really amazing. This is why when I look at Harare per se, there can be a lot of opportunities if you're smart and willing to work. Yes, it's tough. You have to familiarize yourself with the area, but this is not exclusive to Zimbabwe only. In fact, this opens to the whole of Africa. There are so many opportunities that you can do. Anyway, guys, I have a community that I've built on ruwaorganic.com. Join that community. The idea here is to bring like-minded people, positive people who can come in where we can brainstorm ideas of how we can really make our money and how we can work towards our retirement. So go on to ruwaorganic.com. I'll leave a link to that in the video description below. Go ahead, check it out. And yeah, let's discuss, let's communicate, let's help each other. The link again to that is in the video description below. Anyway, guys, those are my thoughts. What do you think? Leave your comments in the comments box below. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.